many have attempted meditation without an understanding of the energy mechanism in their system. You can control thought, just like how you can use electricity without knowing all the connections of electricity in your room. The electrical engineer knows those connections, but you don't know it. But you are using electricity. So also you can control the thought mechanism without knowing too much about how vital energy is functioning in your body. But there is a function between your vital energy and thought and awareness. So if you know it, you can better handle your vital energy. That is why this paradigm is being given. All of these, whether you call it thought, emotion, whether you call it your breath, all of these are expressions of vital energy. And you can use one to control the others. But if you know the energy distribution in your system, you can control all of them at once. And this is why this paradigm is important. It is the unfolding of awareness through the awakening of Kundalini. Please know that this has its roots in some of the minor Upanishads in the Vedas. There are a class of 20 Upanishads called Yoga Upanishads, which are minor Upanishads. Shankaracharya has not commented on them. But the roots of this paradigm are there. And this has been heavily used in some forms of yoga, like Kundalini Yoga, and in the Tantras. This paradigm is not mentioned, the Kundalini and the Shat Chakras and all that is not mentioned in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, nor in the Bhagavad Gita, nor in the major Upanishads. But Sri Ramakrishna and Vivekananda speak of it, and they have authenticated it. So we will dwell a bit on this. In our system are what are called nadis, or channels of for carrying vital energy. They are conduits to the vital energy in our system. Now amongst these nadis, there are three main nadis which are important to this yoga. What are these three main nadis? They are called Ida, Pingala and Sushumna. Most people have no idea of Sushumna and they are insensitive to it. Only yogis become sensitive to the Sushumna channel. But Ida and Pingala are fairly known because our entire mental activity is determined by the flow of vital energy in these two channels. So all of our thought mechanism, our emotion, our whatever you say, conflicts, emotional conflicts, intellectual obsessions, all of these are determined by the flow of prana, the free flow of prana in these two channels. If these channels are blocked, and they can be blocked, then we will have very strong inner conflicts. It will sort of impede our thought mechanism. We can have very strong emotional conflicts and intellectual obsessions, and to overcome this, the Ida and the Pingala have to be regulated. That is why these knots, this psychology describes these knots to be threefold. It is called the Brahma Granthi, Vishnu Granthi and Shiva Granthi. So however you imagine it to be, but these knots have to be removed by clearing our mental life, by regulating our thought, positive, lawful thoughts of love, sharing, caring. This regulate our thought life. Positive emotions of caring, sharing, helping, love, service. This regulate our emotional life and our intellectual life. That means focusing the intellect on that which is elevating, on that which is liberating. This removes all the intellectual tangles, the unnecessary worries in our life. So if this is done consciously, the Ida and Pingala channels naturally get regulated. When vital energy is freely flowing in these channels, then you feel a sense of calmness in your mind. So yogis directly work on these channels and regulate them. Regulate the flow of energy in them so the mind is clear. You can also regulate the mind and thus keep these channels clear. So this is the part of mainly the Jnani and the Yogi. The Jnani is most sensitive to thought and beyond thought. The Yogi is sensitive to vital energy. the flow of vital energy in these channels. So he regulates in this way. The effect is the same, and the two affect each other, as you can see. So this is regarding the nadis. The Sushumna or the central channel is not open in most people, but constantly you will find a lot of literature, and even on the net you will find a lot of things about Sushumna and the Shat Chakras and all this. The thing is, only a very advanced yogi is able to propel the entire mass of vital energy, which can be very scattered in the ordinary person, in the Ida and the Pingala. He will withdraw and propel that entire energy through the Sushumna. And along this Sushumna, the central channel, are located these different chakras, which act as doorways to higher awareness, doorways to higher knowledge. So you can see in the diagram there, the Mooladhara is the chakra at the base, then you have Swadhisthana and Manipura. These three are the lower chakras. Let us go take Sri Ramakrishna's words on this. He says, when the mind dwells in these lower planes, these correspond to some of these planes or bhumis that you find in the Vedic literature also. And he says, when the mind is in these lower chakras, one is only interested in survival instincts, eating, drinking, sex, only this. But when the mind rises to the Anahata, that is the place where spiritual awareness first dawns. One sees the inner light, Sri Ramakrishna says, and one says, what is this? What is this? It is such a refreshing experience. This is the light of awareness. Only at this chakra one tastes pure awareness. Below this, only body consciousness prevails. In the lower three chakras, only body consciousness will prevail. But at the Anahata, higher awareness is awakened. One understands that one is more aware than identified, and one actually sees the light, in the sense, experiences what pure awareness means. In the Vishuddha chakra, one gets immersed in that awareness, and one can only speak of God, Sri Ramakrishna used to say. Beyond this, in the Agnya chakra, one actually sees the light, but still there is one, Sri Ramakrishna says, one partition, as it were, like a lantern. The light is inside, you are outside. So there's a little difference, but one is immersed in God consciousness. And when finally the mind touches the Sahasrar, one plunges into Samadhi. So the yogi does this by drawing vital energy through the Sushumna, systematically making it rise along higher channels. You can just do this by the power of thought also. If you concentrate at the heart center, you are automatically pulling vital energy there. If you concentrate on the higher chakras, automatically the pranic energy rises in you. So we are more used to this, consciously raising the mind systematically to its goal. So this is figuratively described as the union of Shakti and Shiva, because the entire mass of energy, Kundalini Shakti, is systematically taken up and made to merge in the Sahasrar, which is the place of Shiva. So this is the point where realization takes place. Now this paradigm, even a little bit of this in real experience, will change one's entire life. Vivekananda says this, that wherever you find any real greatness, you will see that the energy must have found its way through the Sushumna, at least a bit of it. In the diagram there, one graph I have given, which is the function between vital energy and awareness. The more you are able to raise vital energy upward, the more awareness you will unfold. This is the most important point to understand through this particular paradigm. Please don't attempt to do all these things without the instruction of a guru. It is just a paradigm given to you to understand how your energies and mind are correlated and how they are functioning.